NFL predictions, Week 1, 2013 season. First game of the season is going to be Denver and Baltimore. I'm going to take Denver in that matchup. They have a stronger team. Baltimore has lost a lot of the components of their team last year. They lost Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Anquan Bolden, They lost a lot of the guys that helped make them a successful unit last season. So I'm going to go with a 28-16 win for Denver in that matchup. The next game I have here is New England and Buffalo. I have New England beating Buffalo 31-13. It's Tom Brady. You can take away whoever you want from him, but he's still Tom Brady. He'll still do what he has to do to win. He's that competitive guy, And I'm looking forward to seeing that game because that should be a good matchup. Not so much because it's going to be close, but seeing how he handles himself without a lot of the guys that he had, like Wes Welker and Aaron Hernandez. So we'll see how he handles himself without his main guys this season. Next, I have Seattle and Carolina. I have Seattle winning that one 36-10. Russell Wilson is he's the quarterback to watch this season. He had a great breakout season last year, and this year I think he's going to turn it up even more. Next, got Cincinnati versus Chicago. I have Chicago winning that one 24-14. And I say that just because, Andy Dalton's, he's a decent quarterback, but he's not the greatest. I mean, Chicago doesn't have the greatest quarterback either, but they have some other threats on their side, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that Chicago wins that one. Next, I have Miami and Cleveland. And I'm going to say that one's going to go to Miami. They have a good young quarterback out there. They have some pretty good guys that could have breakout seasons this year. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Miami wins that one 21-13. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Next, I have Minnesota and Detroit. I'm going to go ahead and say Minnesota. It doesn't really need an explanation. It's Minnesota versus Detroit. I'm going to say that one's 13-3. Next off, we have Oakland and Indianapolis. I'm going to go ahead and say that Indianapolis wins that one 28-10. It's Oakland. I don't know what else to say, but it's Oakland. Indianapolis has Andrew Luck, and he's a great young quarterback, and he's going to throw a couple touchdowns against Oakland. They don't really have a defensive threat that he needs to really worry about. Next, I have Kansas City versus Jacksonville. I have that one going towards Kansas City, and I think it's going to be 31-24. I say that because they've got Alex Smith at quarterback and Andy Reid as their head coach. Andy Reid, no matter what happened last season or the last couple seasons in Philadelphia, Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches out there today. And Alex Smith doesn't get enough credit, but he's a really good quarterback. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to them. Next, I have a toss-up because I'm not sure how this one's going to go. I have Atlanta versus New Orleans. That one could go either way. I'm not sure really on that one. That one's going to be a really good game to watch because Atlanta's been working at it the last couple seasons. They're trying to get to that to be the top team, but they're struggling in the playoffs. To where New Orleans, they're just getting their head coach back. Sean Payton's coming back this season, and I think they're going to have a big desire to come up this season and win a lot of games. So that one, I'm not really sure. I'm not even going to take a guess because I'm going to be completely wrong on that one. I already know. So I'm not sure about that one. Next, I have the Bucks versus the Jets, and I'm going to go ahead and give that one to Tampa, 28-14. The Jets are just a joke. They're horrible. If Mark Sanchez wasn't injured right now, he'd be the starting quarterback. He should be a third-string quarterback somewhere. Even if he should even be in the league, he's not a good quarterback. He's a backup. not a starter. So that's where I'm going with that one. Next, I got Tennessee and Pittsburgh. I'm going to go ahead and say Pittsburgh. They got Big Ben. He's a good quarterback. He doesn't go down easy. I'm going to say that one's 14-10 in favor of Pittsburgh. Next, I got Green Bay versus San Francisco. I'm going to go ahead and say San Francisco. Not a fan, but I'm going to go ahead and say them. They've picked up a lot of pieces, with or without Kaepernick. You know, he's the only thing that kind of makes me weary about them winning that game, because he's not what they need. He's that running quarterback that doesn't trust his arm, but he has an arm. He needs to trust his arm and throw the ball, stay in the pocket a little more. You know, I could see him running if he had to, but I think he should try to stay in the pocket a little more and throw it. So I'm going to give it to San Francisco, but if they can contain him running, I'm going to have to say that Green Bay could probably take it. So we'll see how that one turns out. I'm not going to put a score to that one either. You know, that was just too iffy. Next, I got Arizona and St. Louis. I got Arizona beating St. Louis 19-14. You know, it's gonna be a close game. Neither one of them really have like some great team, you know. So I'm gonna say that one's gonna be a pretty close game. Next, I got the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna give that one to the Giants. They have a better overall team. Dallas has Tony Romo in the backfield, and with or without him, they're still not a team to really worry about too much. So I'm gonna give it to the Giants, 34-21. Then I have Philadelphia and Washington. I'm gonna go ahead and give that one to Philadelphia. I know there's gonna be the people out there, they aren't gonna win, blah, 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 but you know, I think Philadelphia has a chance to beat Washington. I'm not a big fan of RG3. You know, what he did last season wasn't really anything. It wasn't really anything. I think this season it's gonna show who he is. He ran. Now that people know like what he's about, they're gonna be targeting him. And who knows, with that knee injury he had last season, I don't know if he'll be running as much either. If he starts throwing it, I could see him doing pretty good. He has a good arm, he can throw. But he chooses to run, which makes it just not as good. It just makes him not perform as good, and I think he'll be a little more weary to run now that he's got an injury to his knee. And so I'm going to give that one to Philadelphia. I think they could pull this one off. Last but not least, I got Houston taking on San Diego. San Diego has no shot. Phillip Rivers will get hit a couple times, and he'll just kind of start throwing the ball away. We saw it last year when they played Denver. Von Miller got in his face, you know, a couple times, and he just, every time somebody was in the backfield with him, he'd start throwing the ball to the sideline. So I'm going to go ahead and give that one to Houston, 28-19. And I think that is a fair score. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see how many of these predictions I get right. Hopefully it's most of them. Thanks.